We're live.
Hey, Chaos, what are you doing?
Trying to stay awake. What are you doing, Pamela?
Not much. It is Thursday, May 19th.
Yep.
Yeah, yep, 2016. I'm losing it here. I need to have a calendar at this point. So what's going on? Happy
Um,
Chaotic Live.
well, it looks like Airbus has confirmed that the plane was lost over the Mediterranean.
So
Just
let's fill in our audience just in case they're not completely aware, right?
uh-huh.
So there was a flight 804 that disappeared over the Mediterranean, Egypt Air, and it is now confirmed that it's
Yeah, they've confirmed that it has been lost over the Mediterranean. It was 18 minutes ago. I got live updates going on, but
very exciting, very exciting.
yeah, and it says it has not been confirmed that it has crashed, but it has been lost. And that's the official statement from Airbus. Um, and also, there was earlier, probably a couple hours ago, or maybe an hour ago, that they did get a distress signal 2 hours after they actually initially reported it as well. So, any earlier reports saying, that the signal was earlier on in the flight, that was bogus. It came 2 hours after.
So did you get a chance to see the radar? Because I did. Did you see the radar on the plane?
No, I didn't.
So on the radar, and this is really what sort of tripped me out because I may be very, very incorrect about this. But literally the plane on radar shows as it's flying, you see it's flying, right? It goes over Cairo. It enters Egypt space, the Egyptian space, right?
That's what the
And
radar actually
just
showed.
yeah, no, yeah, totally. You could see it go right. You literally see the plane go flying into the space over Cairo. It lets Cairo know that it's there. Makes contact. Blah blah blah. And literally, the plane disappears on radar. So hang on. So I want to just like go over this with you because I think maybe I'm confused. But if the plane were hypothetically, if it fell, you would actually see the radar of it falling, right?
Well, you can go under radar and you can disappear that way. So
How,
if it
what do you mean you can go under radar? I mean, they were on radar, so you could actually see the plane right before it disappeared. So
if it lowers its altitude, you can go
it didn't lower its
beneath.
altitude.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set this up for you so that I'll give you what I know, and then you can help me with what we don't know. Okay.
All right.
So the plane actually makes it over Cairo. It makes contact with Egyptians. Uh, uh, Flight, whatever. Help me.
Well, but it's flight
Okay, so it makes contact.
MS 804.
Okay. So anyway, so you see the flight. It goes over Cairo. It makes contact with the Egyptian airspace. They make contact. This is before there's any request for help or anything like that. There's no request for help at this point, and the plane literally disappears.
Now, is this while it's over the Mediterranean, or are you saying it's actually over land? Which
No,
one?
it's over the Mediterranean,
Okay.
so you can see it. So the thing is that from what I understand, and I could be wrong. I want to preface this with maybe I'm missing something, and I very well could be. But from all of the planes I've ever seen in my life, and I've taken a tremendous amount of them, they don't just disappear unless they are shot out of the sky. And wait, if they were shot, like hypothetically, shot out of the sky, like attacked, like with a, let's just say, like, just for the sake of the conversation, they were, like it was shot with a missile or something, you would actually see on radar an explosion of some kind. You would see something, right? You'd see a blip. There'd be a blip. So, like, all of the options are like, well, if it went down, you would still see it losing its altitude. Okay, so it might eventually go out of radar, but you would see the altitude lower.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
do they know about the altitude readings? I mean, they need
Of
to.
course they do. It's radar.
What?
It's worldwide. What are you talking about?
So they're able on the radar. They're able to say how high it is.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And it
So
never
this is
lowered? It never lowered? It just
no, it
disappeared?
didn't lower at all. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the point. It didn't lower. It didn't explode. It didn't anything. It literally, you see it and then it disappears completely. And I find that very, I think questionable is a really gentle word for what that is. I kind of find that to be bullshit. I mean,
Well, if that's the case, if it didn't actually lower altitude,
it did
then
not lower
yeah,
altitude.
then
It did not
that's
lower altitude.
then
It
that
did
makes no sense at all. Then that would make no
exactly.
sense at all.
It doesn't. And here's the thing about it. A couple of years ago, and this is part of Agenda 21. I've read this in the Agenda 21 um uh well, I want to say contract, but it's just the publication. But anyways, part of one of the millions of goals of Agenda 21 is to get people to stop flying, right? And I noticed this. The reason why this stood out to me was because we went for about 50 years with like one plane incident every 10 years or so, sometimes more. And of course, the old slogan, you have much more of a chance of getting hurt in a car than in a plane, right?
Hmm.
That's like the old line. Well, a couple of years ago, very suddenly, out of nowhere, plane crashes became common, like in a day, like one day, and then forward. There were like, planes would go missing, planes would crash, plane problems, plane this, plane that. And I noticed it because I fly a lot, right? I've always flown a lot. And I was just like, what is going on that we're having these problems? And we can blame it on infrastructure, but infrastructure doesn't just deteriorate, it has to purposefully deteriorate because we know how things are kept up with rules, right? Everything has a system.
Yeah.
Things haven't been safe all these years by coincidence. They were safe all these years because of the systems that have been set up and um, the levels of care that we've insisted upon in this country as well as other countries, right?
Yeah.
So very suddenly we've had a just tremendous plethora of plane incidents where they disappear or crash or have all these problems. So now let's flash forward to today. What? We're like, what? Right?
There's a lot of disinfo about this crash so far as well. Just going through the uh,
You
some
can
of
look on
the
you
some
can
of the
look online and
reports.
find the you can find, just black and white. You can just find the radar on it. It is not complicated. It is out there. You can just look at it. It doesn't make any sense. You can follow the fuck.
Well, that beacon has been confirmed. Now it's being denied that they did not get it 2 hours after they lost contact. And they
Right.
said they did. Now they're
I don't
saying
think
they haven't.
I don't think they actually got any beacon at all. I think that's garbage, honestly. Because if there was really a beacon, a request for help, right? First of all, the plane would have lost altitude and it did not. Second of all, they would have reported that at the beginning. Why would they have not reported that immediately? That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's like, what? I mean, this is all standard operating procedure. I hate it when they do these things and act like this is like when they treat us like we're imbeciles and we're children and we're like, oh, really? Did it just disappear out of the sky? Wow, how could that happen? And there was no cause for help, no call for help. Oh, yeah, there was a call for help. And they tell you that like 3 hours later. Give me a break. This is like worldwide standard procedure. This is not complicated. You can travel all over the world anytime, 24 hours a day, because this is standard operating procedure, right? I
Yeah.
mean, no, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's like, stop treating us like we're imbeciles. Stop acting like we are and accepting it. We're not. This is stupid. Planes don't disappear out of the sky by accident unless you're making it happen. Unless they cloak the plane with, and they can do that. We know they can cloak the plane. They can cloak the plane and make it look invisible. They can do that. That's easy. It's done. We have proof. We've seen millions of videos on that, right?
How would they do that? Do you know?
I haven't thought about this in a little while, but I mean, I've seen videos where they actually they can cloak a plane, they can do it when it's midair. Absolutely. They can put up some sort of a shield and make it disappear. I mean, it's a military thing to do, but I mean, it could be done. And I think in a situation like this, I mean, they could cloak it and even take it down, but it wouldn't happen by accident, and it wouldn't happen as a normal, a normal happenstance. Let's put it that way. A plane doesn't just disappear off of radar without some doing.
Yeah, this is a weird one. This really is. A lot of it doesn't make sense, and also Egypt Air is even saying there's like tons of misinformation going on. So it's like
Right.
it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Let's put it this way. I mean, I hope and pray for the sake of the people on board that they're safe. I do, and I don't want to misrepresent that intention. I absolutely hope and pray that they're really. I mean, maybe I could hope and pray that there weren't people on board, but if those people were on board, I hope and pray that they're safe and sound somewhere and that we find them. But in the case that they're not, I don't think that this would be considered a mistake. It's very hard to imagine a scenario where this could happen without some doing. That's all. I mean,
66 passengers too. So
I thought it was 69. No?
I thought it was 66.
Was
Just
it
the passengers.
66? I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I think 15 of them were French, I think. So
We're going to end up finding out that they're like patent holders or something of some far.
maybe maybe they were holistic doctors.
Oh, well, I love you so much. Okay, so let's talk about that. So I know you released an article on your site about the holistic doctors that have been found dead, and why don't you fill us in a little bit about this? Because let's definitely segue into this. This is a really important story.
Yeah, I mean it's a really old article. It's from last year, but it's basically my honest introduction to this whole phenomenon of holistic doctors basically meeting early demise, or they're actually being murdered and they're actually being called suicided. It's like a new word, I guess. They're calling it suicided, where like it all started last year around June, where this one doctor was shot in the chest like at a river, and they said it was suicide. I don't know anyone who commits suicide by shooting themselves in the chest at a
He
river.
drags himself to the river.
Yeah. And then there's other mysterious ones. They say 4 of the 8 are being were treated as homicides, and the other ones they just said it was a suicide because they either like shot themselves in the head or the
Yeah,
other
but
person
they
had.
proved that they proved that all of these doctors didn't actually. I mean, they couldn't have shot themselves actually in reality.
Yeah.
There'd be like too close or too far or something.
There was one that you could probably say maybe it was natural causes, although there is technology to invoke a heart attack, and that was like the one that the single one that had a cardiac arrest. And the article also talks about at the time, I don't have any updates, so maybe these 2 other doctors were actually found, but 2 Mexican doctors were actually missing at the time as well, as these 8 had died. So it was a total of 10.
And since then, okay, wait, when was this article written?
It was around June or July of 2015. That's what it was
Okay,
talking about, basically.
So there are at least 3 or 4 more that have died since then.
Wow.
I think another one died yesterday, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. This phenomenon has not slowed down or something. It has continued on a regular basis. I think every 2 weeks, approximately 2 weeks to a month, another holistic doctor dies. And these are not just any holistic doctors. These are holistic doctors that were specializing in cancer cures and specializing in autism.
Yeah, that first doctor I was talking about, his specialty was autism.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually
The one who supposedly shot himself in the chest by the river and threw himself in there. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that do you remember MC Math or M?
I don't.
There was something. I actually thought that these doctors were connected to a cancer cure. That I'm not. Anyways, but I'm not sure if that's all. But I do know that they were all the original doctors. The first couple of them were talking about cancer cures, and and as you go down the line, there were like cancer and autism, but these were really good doctors. And I think what's interesting is years ago there were MDs that discovered. I mean, there have been a number of doctors that have discovered cures for cancer, and they have all been either killed or put in prison. Or I mean, there's only one doctor that's still around that has done phenomenal work. But I mean, they've tortured him. They've put him through unbelievable amounts of hell. But this is like another version of that. So instead of taking these doctors and putting them through court, and I think they almost don't want to give these doctors legitimacy enough to take them to court or put them in jail. I think it's easier for them to just kill them. And when I say they, I mean the Rockefellers, because the Rockefellers control the medical community completely.
Yeah, don't they own the patents to Zika or something like that?
They own the patents to everything. The Rockefellers literally control the American Medical Association. They created it. Literally, the Rockefeller Foundation created the medical association. And what's funny is the
Well, they
great grandfather of the Rockefellers was actually a real deal snake oil salesman, for real, like the
yeah
real deal
yeah
snake
yeah
oil
yeah.
salesman.
I remember seeing some of the video on
Is
that
that
family.
crazy?
But yeah, going back to the holistic doctors, I remember reading in that article it talking about how that first doctor who shot himself in the chest by the river, how he had been earlier, just like a couple days, I think, investigated by the FDA with a raid, and
Yeah, that's what MC Mac, MG Mac, shoot, MC Mac. Yeah, and they took all of his cancer um curing stuff out, and made it illegal to sell. Yes,
hmm,
yes, yes.
interesting.
Yeah. He was raided, and they took, and the stuff that he was selling, or that he was prescribing to his patients, isn't something like a medicine. It's literally something that the body creates on its own and stops creating. And when the body stops creating it, it becomes susceptible to cancer. And when you introduce it into the body, which is, again, it's like a finger or like a nail or something. It's something that the body makes. It's a human functional, you know what I mean? It's something that the
Yeah,
body makes on its own. And so what he discovered, that it was missing in all, in people with cancer. So when you reintroduce it, the body, cancer can't live. And so that's when they raided his office, and then they started, so everybody connected with him. It appears to be a whole chain of everyone connected with him, that was privy to any information that could actually cure disease, because we know that they don't want us to live.
that's very very interesting about
It's so
the
sad.
chain of people. Just
Yeah.
clearing house.
It's tremendously. It's so sad, and it's kind of scary that, I mean, there seems to be a level of corruption that we are being pushed into in this country that just
You're
hasn't
not allowed
existed.
you're not allowed to make cures. You're only allowed to make treatments. No cures are allowed.
Right, and the treatments that are allowed are only allowed when they're created out of pharmaceuticals. If they come from the ground, if they come from the earth, and they're natural, then they don't make a tremendous amount of money, and those aren't allowed at all.
Yeah.
Years ago, I met this gentleman who had discovered or created a tire that did not wear out, and he was in hiding. He was petrified. I mean, first they tried to buy the patent, and then they couldn't. He wouldn't sell it. And then they tried to strong arm him, and then they tried to kill him. And I'm sure he ended up getting killed. I don't know, but I was working for a law firm at the time, and he was. I mean, this man was literally petrified for his life, and it was a life changing experience for me, because I didn't, I had no exposure to corruption, or I didn't even understand what Big Brother was. Right, I didn't even know that there could be an overseeing arm of fiduciary garbage that would,
Yeah.
that could be controlling our world. I had no idea. But when I met him, it was like, wait, what? Like, right? You know what I'm saying? It was like so life changing. And the truth of it is like we've never seen a tire that doesn't wear out, have we?
No.
right?
I've heard so many stories like that about
Exactly.
inventors.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, we all have now, but this was meant, I was young. I'm just saying, like when you realize how commerce is controlled, it is shocking.
Well,
It
it's
is
all about
shocking.
markets. It's all about markets. You can't introduce something into the market like that and destroy the existing market. And that's you have big auto, you have big pharma, you got all these establishments, and you know you can't disturb that, or you're gonna get killed. You're gonna get bought out. You're gonna get threatened, or you're gonna get killed. Well, you got
Well,
three
so that's
options.
what, but that's what cancer is. Cancer is the biggest market in the country. Cancer
Hmm.
makes more money. I mean,
That's the other thing.
this,
That's the other thing about holistic is you have they'll say don't do the chemotherapy, do these alternative medicines, and so that's the big drive. That's why I think that's why they want to get rid of all these holistic doctors is because they
they've
want
always
people on
been
the
that way.
chemo. They want
Yeah,
people
but
on
they've
that
always
chemo,
we've always had holistic doctors saying
but
don't do chemo. They've always had them.
they're attacking chemo big time, and I think that's the
Chemo's
drive.
murder. I mean, chemo's murder. I
It's
don't. I don't
poison. It's poison. It's all
Of course
poison.
it is. Wait, so you take a compromised body and you give it more poison. The body's already compromised. You're going to give it more poison. The body's just going to die faster. That's all that's going to happen. Radiation's the same. The same. Radiation is poison. So you give it poison and more poison for a body that's already compromised. But the pharmaceutical companies make a fortune
Mm-hmm.
while you're dying. The average, I think, is $800,000 for a person with cancer. And I can say firsthand experience that it is unbelievable what happens to somebody once they're diagnosed with cancer. Um, and then they get tons of money and then they're gone.
They got to make those quarterly profits for the stockholders.
But I mean, I'm just saying, so like when you say you can't disrupt business, the idea that in our country, out of the top, I think the top three highest grossing industries, I think cancer is either the first or second. And after that, it's the pharmaceutical industry. And they're not the same. Those are actually two separate industries. Because cancer has all of the nonprofits, which are not really nonprofits, all the people that make money from all of the nonprofits from cancer, and all of the cancer research. That's all money making. That's a machine. That's this huge machine. And all of the people that work in the industry,
Yeah,
that's
you got
all part of the machine.
breast cancer month and all that too. You get this whole
It's
big
huge.
thing.
It's huge. I mean, literally, if cancer was outed for, for there being cures, all of the people that work for the cancer industry, all of the employees, all of the doctors, all of the nurses, all of the techs, all of the research, all of the nonprofits, all of the not for profits, all those people's salaries would disappear.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
You got to think about the also like football, NFL. Breast cancer month is huge in the NFL. Everyone wears the pink colors. It's
I
all
didn't even
it's
know that.
it's all over the NFL. So there's a lot of there's a lot of money involved in that to get the NFL to do that, and then all that exposure. So I mean, I'm just trying to add
It
greater
is huge. No, you're
context.
right. No,
I'm
no, no,
adding
you're
greater
totally
context.
right.
So this
You're
is
taking it into
so
advertising and everything, right?
it's
Exactly.
saturating
Very
social media. It's saturating everybody. So
everything.
you got people who don't even know about cancer and probably could care less, but they're watching football, with their buddies, drinking beer, and they're like, well, why is everyone wearing pink? And then they say, oh, because it's breast cancer awareness month.
And the advertising, right? So it's exponentially just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then after that humongous never-ending industry, then you've got the pharmaceutical industry as the second biggest, right? I mean, I actually think cancer in itself is the highest grossing um, profit in the country, and then pharmaceuticals, which is crazy. And then after that, I think it's communications or cellular, right?
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm not sure.
I could be wrong, but I mean, if that isn't the correct order, they are all in the top five. All of those, they're within the top five. So I mean, look at what we're making money from in this country. Because in other countries, cancer is not the top anyway. There's no other place in the
It's a
world where
parasite economy. It's a parasite economy.
it's so sad. I don't like it. I'm not happy with that. Makes me very sad. And by the time you figure out that you've got cancer, you're still here and you can't afford to go to Germany to get treated. Or, I mean, there are other places. You can even go to Mexico for trial stuff, but
Rick,
Germany,
Rick,
I think, has the
Rick,
best.
Rick Simpson oil, right? Hemp oil.
Oh no, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes, totally. I can't believe you know about that. Yes.
Oh, I know all kinds of stuff I never say. So,
You're so interesting. Wow. Oh my God.
yep.
Yeah,
So,
friend.
grapeseed extract as well, in high quantities can also destroy cancer. So, do that and Rick Simpson oil, and you
Wait,
probably
how do you do the grape seed?
you can buy grapeseed extract.
I have grape seed extract. Actually, I have that.
Yeah, just you just
Put it in a little capsule.
no, you can buy the powder. Powder's the
Okay.
best, and just
Okay.
put it in some water, mix it up, and it's really bad tasting, but it should help out.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I'll give it a try and let you know how it goes.
All right. It's
All
really
right.
bad. It's really bad though.
Yeah, I'm sure it's horrible. Yeah, I'm sure. You can probably put it in a capsule and just swallow it. It probably work just the same
Maybe.
if you get a gelatin capsule. Not that I've tried things like this, but I try all kinds of stuff.
If you buy
I'm
if you
like
buy the
super.
powder, if you buy the powder, it's really cost effective. So.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a try. I mean, it would probably work preventatively as well, right?
Oh yeah, that's why I have it. Just
Oh,
to.
do you? You didn't tell? You didn't share that?
Oh yeah, I have. I've done a lot of research on um, products that you can buy cheaply to fight cancer or as prevent it, and also to cleanse the body. But
Oh,
I
nice.
don't really go on. That's for another show. But
Hey, you know what?
since we
I think
were
we're gonna
talking about
revisit
cancer,
this. Yes,
we can, yeah.
another time. Yeah, I'm gonna. You guys, the guys, let us know in the comments below if you want to revisit this because I definitely do. I think it's interesting, but let us know what you think. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was done. I was
Oh,
completely done.
oh, okay. So I think all right. So I find that really fascinating. So anyways, I hope that flight. I think it's 804, right? Flight
Yeah.
804 is the one that disappeared.
MS804. Yep.
MS804. So we're gonna put out our very positive hopes that MS804 is discovered and the people on board are found safely, and that all of our loved ones and friends and family are found without cancer as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Most definitely. So I'm gonna close the show, and thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until next time.
Until next time. We'll see you then.
Bye.